Hi, I'm Stephen Ham from Archery Supplies, and today I got a new Ukha shipment in. And I wanted to do this video just to talk about Ukha. I did a video last week talking about my Ukha shipment that came in by sea. It cost me over $2,000, and I had issues with getting through customs because the quantity was not matching up to the invoice. It was out by one, and all the issues, and I got hit with storage fees. And anyway, I did a video about it. So today I want to talk about the latest shipment that come in, because often people, I see it on social media and I see it from friends that when things are going wrong in their life, they're like, my life's just terrible and it's not going to get better, and just stuff keeps hitting me. And that's the way I felt. I just had the shipping container go back to China that cost me $50,000. I had this one which cost me 3,000, I think, and it was quoted at 2. It was ridiculous. It was crazy. And anyway, I had a few other things, and it was like all at once, and I'm like, anyway, this is a new Ukha carbon riser. So this shipment that came in by air. Okay, it was the same size as my sea shipment. Okay. So I've left that freight company that was handling those shipments that I had issues with. There's a little pocket there where this goes in. And I've got a new guy. So new company. So I think it was $2,000 or $3,000 to bring the last one in by sea, which was crazy. Anyway, this one, same size. It got from Ukha to me in less than 7 days, but we'll call it 7 days. Happy to call it 7 days, because people go, some of my friends go, oh look, it took 4 days to get here. Look, did it really? It might have been 4 days to get to Australia, but then you got to clear customs, and it probably took 4 days to get here, but then it sat in customs for 2 days, right? But we'll call it 7. $500. Winning all day long. So my cost of my other Ukha shipment, I think I was up for about $70 for a set of limbs. So I've got all Ukha limbs behind me and in front of me and on the side of me. These are all Ukha limbs. So this box cost by sea about $70, $60, right? So and it was crazy because a whole container, to bring a whole container in, is $5,000. So we're having this debate at the moment, right? That you might as well just bring in full containers instead of bringing these part containers. Okay. So this shipment, new supplier, flying stuff in, $500. It equates to about $15 for a set of limbs. Winning. Now, how much does that affect me? It's everything to me, because that's my profit margin right there. Freight is my profit margin. So if I can bring stuff in cheap, there's my profit margin, right? That's my profit margin. Because if I can bring it in cheap and no one else can bring it in cheap, then I'm winning. Okay, so that's as simple as my business is. People think it's about having rows and rows of stock and lots of Ukha stuff. That's all Ukha. And I know I've got more Ukha. We've got Ukha down there, I think, as well. But people think it's about stock, and they think it's about knowing your products. I really think it's about getting freight in cheap, right? So with this new supplier, it just came in, and I had the same issue. One product didn't match up. The invoice was different to the packing list by one product. I'm not sure what it was. But it was no problem. They were like, yeah, that's fine. We'll just take the invoice. And I'm like, cool. Like, because originally when I get the invoice from Ukha and they go, here's the invoice. And it's like, that's cool. That's all I need. When I book the shipment, I go, here's a copy of the invoice. Here's the dimensions. And they go, here's your price. So out of every situation, there comes an upside. Okay? So sometimes you go get pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed until you change what you're doing. And then it changes for the better. Okay, so I see this all the time. People complain and, you know, their life's not going well. But then when things go well, it's like, yeah. So anyway, same with business. So I feel like it's like I'd been using that freight company for 10 years and really hadn't had any problems. And then a whole bunch of problems. And it's like, well, guess what? I'm not going to use you anymore. Changed to a new guy. The new system's great. And now we're doing freight inside Australia. And I'll talk on that, even though this video is about Ukha. So freighting stuff around Australia is an issue for big bulky stuff like big targets. I've spoken about this before. I'm currently in court on some targets. So I shipped some targets to casino, some big foam targets to an archery club in casino. The freight company quoted $400, $500, $450, $470, whatever it was. And I said, yes, that's cool. There were some other quotes around the same price. Anyway, 4 weeks after it had been delivered to them, the freight company goes, you owe an extra $450. Because the measurements weren't correct. The measurements are out by 5 centimeters on the width and 5 centimeters on the height, which is nothing in percentage wise, but they doubled the price of the quote. They doubled the price of the quote for 5 centimeters thicker, and it's not because the targets are 125, but they've measured them at 130. And they say it's their prerogative to charge what they like, because that was in the contract I signed, which was just a shipping agent. So I'm going to court. Okay, so I'm going to court. Anyway, I'm using a new shipping agent, which is the same people who do this, right? Who brought this in for me. And we had similar issue with using a company called Border Express, right? I got quoted $40 to deliver a bow from here to Queensland, like rural Queensland, and then the bill came in at $90. And I was like, and I knew the dimensions were correct. They were absolutely spot on because I'd measured them, but they increased the dimensions by like 1 centimeter in either direction and doubled the quote. And I'm like, well, why is 1 centimeter double the quote? Because the measurement was cubed at 21 kilos, but they've got it at 25, but they've doubled the quote to it. So I'm like, well, guess what? We just won't use that company anymore. So just take them off the books. We won't use them anymore. So the next week, we ship these targets all around Australia again. And every quote is spot on. Spot on. So if I charge $60, it was $60. If I charged, $50, it was $50. So that's all you want. You just go, look, I don't want to charge people $50 and then me get charged $100 because then I'm losing money. Okay. So, and on that point, so the company who I used to use for moving the targets around, rough price was between $100 and $200 a target to move it around. I just got quoted moving 8 targets. These are the big foam things. To Victoria, 8 targets for $300, which is like $50 a target, which was really, really good. But then I had one going just up it's a rural area, and that was 200. That's one. So a lot of these freight companies, the more pieces you put in doesn't really up the price. So this is the whole thing. The bulking, like the price of this might be similar to the price of 2 of these to freight, right? So anyway, that's all I wanted to say. That the Ukha shipment that I had problems with last week, the next one that came in by air was 7 days in and $500. So I was very, very happy with that, and it means now I can get Ukha stuff in really, really quick. And that's important for me because I sell lots of Ukha stuff. So that's a Ukha carpenter riser. Anyway, I'm Stephen Ham from Archery Supplies. Thanks for watching. Bye.